Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Super excited about today. From insulin dependency to fitness, my inspiring journey. Today, I want to welcome Anthony Segovia, and it was a fun chase. I got to tell you, I literally chased Anthony for about 6 months and got many no's, and I just hung in there. And for me, it's been one of the most gratifying experiences to see him change and see his lifestyle change. Anthony started working in the mortgage business in 2005 with Countrywide Home Loans. He worked for Channel 2 News, and currently he's the president and owner of LendDone, which does commercial lending. And he's a host of a YouTube channel, Anthony Segovia, where he shows off his cooking skills and his travels, and he's accumulated over 19,000 subscribers and still growing. Anthony's married to his lovely wife, Casey, and they love to travel together, and I love to see their exploits and how fitness has changed them and given them so much energy. And I want to thank Anthony, because when I started my YouTube journey, he helped me get subscribers right out of the gate. And I needed that momentum. I needed that push. And it's because of him. So Anthony, let's just get right into it. Give me your current stats, your age, your height, your weight, your blood pressure.
Hey, Bill, happy Thursday. So height, 5'4", weight right now I'm about 228. I'm 36 years old. I'll be 37 in about 3 days. Blood pressure, like a last check, was 134 over, I believe it was 87 or 86. So it's a little bit elevated still, but it's a lot it's tremendously better than it was. So, and my average insulin is around 128 now. My average, I'm sorry, not insulin, but my blood sugar levels.
Okay.
Around 128. So
tell me your why, Anthony. Why did you finally return my call? What's your why at this point in your life?
One day I just decided, living a secret, miserable life as far as my health goes. Great marriage, but health-wise, I was depressed. I was, over 278 pounds, almost 280 pounds. And it just wasn't, it wasn't, I didn't like it, and it was terrible,
But
terrible.
What is your why at this point? Like, if you could have the magic carpet, what's your why right now?
I wanted to live a longer life, and I felt like I just felt my life was. Did you want to have more energy? I wanted to have more energy. I wanted to be able to, I travel a lot, so I wanted to be able to still do that. I didn't want to be approaching my 40s and say, hey, I can't do this anymore because of my health lifestyle, so.
I think a lot of people can relate to the lack of energy, and that's really your body talking to you. You're doing something wrong, because I'm not eating a lot right now, and I still have a lot of energy, and I want to share this. So I think our viewers would love to hear the beginning of your journey, being a diabetic, and the water retention. Could you walk us through your early days, what initially sparked your interest in health and nutrition?
So what I'll start with is, I had really bad edema, swollen legs. The water would creep up to my thighs. It was terrible. I would just, my doctors would push medication on me. Lasix was a big one. I was taking almost 60 milligrams. Oh. Yeah, 60 milligrams of Lasix per day. And I was still eating unhealthy at that point. So I was just figuring, hey, you know what? I can eat unhealthy. I got the Lasix to help me out. Didn't care about my sodium. Would just eat whatever I could. So it kind of, one day I just said, you know what? I can't keep this up anymore. I was finding myself going to the ER more frequently with asthma was acting up, the water would actually creep up to my lung. It was bad. It was just a terrible experience,
So I had surgery on my shoulder twice. I had both titanium shoulders, and my right shoulder, I thought it'd be funny and drive the car a day after surgery. And I had edema for 2 weeks. I had basically a softball come down my arm 2 weeks. The left one I iced. It was only 2 weeks. I can only imagine the life you lived, because it was an arm, and it felt my hand was going to blow off, right? That edema, right? And I can only imagine what you had to go through, because it was just my arm. So I'm really glad that you have made this switch. Could you tell me the pivotal moment that made you return my call?
Oh man, honestly, I actually uploaded a video that day, and I was flipping through my social media, and I saw that you were doing something with the fitness program that you have, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna message him, and I did, and here we are.
Right on. And I really do feel appreciative that we're doing this. How important is your BS or belief systems in shaping your outcome?
The belief system is something that you have to give it 100%, because if you don't, it's just like you used to always tell me, what, diets are meant to fail. This is a lifestyle change. And that took a long time for me to actually like kind of sink in. And even to this day, I still have troubles. Trust me, there's times where I find myself veering off the path. I'll have like a piece of chocolate or something. I know I can't do it, but I'm still, in my mind, I still know that, what, I can't do this. I have to just keep doing what I'm doing, because it's a lifestyle change. You have to adopt it, and you have to have the belief system. You have to know that you know you can't keep going the way you're going, and have a good life. You can't. So
The one comment I'll make on that is belief systems are shaped by our childhood, and we're told no, don't spill the milk constantly. And I find the biggest thing I have to do is get people to believe that they can adopt a change very easily, little small things. And it's way easier than they think. To that end, the fitness lifestyle, full up or downs, what's your current challenges?
honestly, the current challenge for me is adopting the lifestyle change. I think that's hardest for probably anybody, because for so long I've lived a life where I ate whatever I wanted. I didn't exercise. I relied on medicine to keep me well, and that's pretty much how my life went for years. So that's the hardest part for me, is just adopting the lifestyle, the change, the belief system. That, hey, you know what, you can't do this, but I've done it for so long, and I'm still here. Yeah, my health was affected by it, but nothing really bad happened to me until I started getting the edema and stuff like that. So that's kind of like when you talk about pivotal moments, that was kind of I always tell myself, I don't want to go back to having swollen feet, swollen thighs. So I have to kind of stay for the course, kind of keep going. So
Isn't it true that you were on about 80 IUs of insulin, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and orange juice as directed? And when you made the pivot, you just reduced your carbohydrates. So you reduced the need for insulin. And are you off insulin now?
yeah, I'm actually off insulin. I
Wow.
haven't had it. Yeah, it's crazy, because it makes me think like, wow, I could have just ate healthier, and I wouldn't all those years of I was on insulin for probably, God, 3 or 4 years, probably almost 4 years. And they would tell me, you know what, when every time you get a low, drink a glass of orange juice. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, I mean, that's going to cause my blood sugar to shoot up. But then, hey, it's okay, because I have the insulin pen, and that's kind of like was my mentality. Was I live my life basically thinking to myself, I can eat whatever I want, but I have this magic pen that's gonna, drop my blood
Oh, I
sugar.
see. That
You
makes
know,
sense.
so and that's a
It'll
terrible way.
the pin will solve the problem, if you will.
Exactly, and
But
that's
it
what
sounds
these
like it was
doctors.
exasperating it because insulin by nature, you didn't feel good and you had edema and all these issues, right? Is it
Yeah,
really that simple? You just chose to eat lower carbohydrates and you got rid
I
of all that?
basically I just changed my I as you know I love pasta. I was eating pasta probably 5 to 6 times a week. And we're talking like a pound of, I mean, a lot. And terrible, terrible choice. So those of you who love pasta,
You
that's
know
one
what's
thing
one
you're
thing
going to kind
I
of have
heard
to.
recently, that eating, uh, YouTube views, sex, they create L-dopamine. And we got to find other ways to create L-dopamine than eating. You know what I mean? And I tell
Yeah.
people eating's for fuel, sex is for fun. Okay, with your experience as a diabetic that beat the insulin poison, You undoubtedly mastered the art of balance and your busy schedule and staying fit. What practical advice can you give our viewers who struggle to first find the time to exercise and eat properly, especially with a high power businessman like yourself?
I find the easiest way is to find stuff you like. Like, for instance, I remember our first actual meeting. You told me I could eat pork rinds, and I'm like, "What? Are you serious? Pork rinds and cheese and salami? Like, I can eat that kind of stuff?" And I was shocked because I'm thinking like, how can I be healthy and eat this stuff? And then you started talking to me about labels and everything else, and um, it's amazing because you can still there's still so much good food out there, and you have to find what you like. That's
Yes.
the key, is
Yes.
finding what you like, because it's gonna be, in the beginning, it's gonna be a little bit of a change, but you have to. I sat down and I wrote down the things that you told me as far as eating. We went over a list of the stuff that I like to eat, and I went to the grocery store. I filled up my fridge with all this stuff. I was never hungry because you told me I could eat as much as I wanted. I was never hungry. Um, but I found stuff that I like to enjoy, and that's the key thing, is you have to find things you're going to enjoy. Because remember, it's not a diet; it's a lifestyle change. So,
And I want to parlay on that. I would say about 90% of keto products are terrible, but then the 10% are really good. And it's about finding little changes. Um, and it's really awesome. It's about adopting little things we can live with, not sacrifice. Your journey's been incredibly inspiring. Could you elaborate how it reflects on your personal philosophy of health and fitness?
well, I'll tell you what. About 4 years ago, I didn't have any philosophy on health and fitness. I didn't care. So, um, I didn't care about how I looked. I mean, I cared about how I looked, but I didn't really. That wasn't like my major concern in life. We're taught at an early age, go out, get a job, go to school, work, and we're not really taught health and fitness in school. So I didn't. There was kind of wasn't a thing for me. You know, um, it's just there comes a point in your life where things are going so terribly wrong for you health wise, where you just enough's enough, and you have to just take control of it, and that's what happened to me.
You know what's
I
interesting
just
to me is I recently have built a really nice social group, right? And last year, I predicted a heart attack and cancer in the group. Both happened. This year, there will be 2 heart attacks in the group. I already know who they are. And it's carbohydrates and alcohol. And I tell people, if you want to live for a long time, don't drink alcohol, watch your sugar and carbohydrates, and get lots of rest. Those are the 3 things. So, what's your routine now?
you don't know. I just get a lot of sleep. I'm very conscious of like going out. As far as like, I don't go to bars. That's really never been my thing. So I don't have the alcohol's not a problem for me. It's the eating good food.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to really, as I travel a lot, so it's really hard for me to find certain things, like eating wise. It's hard for me to find certain things to eat in certain countries, or restaurants and stuff like that. But I kind of have an idea now, so there's certain little tweaks you can make to dishes and stuff. But as far as routine goes, just working and just staying busy, and I have a lot more energy now. So, um, I'm recently recovering from feet injuries. Uh, as you know, I had those diabetic ulcers on my feet, so
Mm-hmm.
recovering from those. So I haven't really had much time to go out and do a whole lot yet, but my energy is definitely back.
Good.
So I definitely have the energy back, and being off the insulin and everything else has just done wonders for me. So,
Can you give us a couple tips for somebody that's in the position you were in? Somebody's like defeated. I don't really care that much. I don't see the forest through the trees. You got a couple tips for a newbie?
my the biggest tips for me was just you have to just find it in yourself, because my main thing was, you have to do it for yourself, because you know what, it's going to continue to get worse. So you just have to just it's never going to be easy. It's going to continue to get harder as you get older. It's going to get harder and harder and harder, and it's very important to remember that. you know, and that was my problem. I just kept telling myself, I'm going to do later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. But you got to do it right away. You have to just grab the bull by the horn and just say, you know what, I'm going to change my lifestyle. Secondly, it's got to be something you want to do. You have to kind of just be fed up, because I see a lot of people, you know, their New Year's resolutions. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. And 2 weeks later, you know, they're not doing what they have. They're not doing what they have to do. So
You know what's funny
you got
about
to just,
that? I've been going to the gym for 40 years. And January 1st to January 30th is always the busiest. Okay. This year's the slowest year ever. It's unbelievable. You think there's more people now in 40 years, our population's 2 billion more. There's more everything. And this year's the slowest year. And I'm like, you would think more people adopt this. Anyway, Anthony, I want to thank you. And so if you like this content, like and subscribe to the channel so I have the resources to build off this, because this is a good thing. 4,000 people die a day from insulin resistance. That's cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. And it appears just modifying your diet can make a big difference. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm only sharing what works for me and my clients. And Anthony, I want to thank you, and thank you for taking me on your journey.
no problem. And thank you for really, you changed my life. And let me add one more thing to what you just said. Doctors, you know, I have Kaiser, okay, and there hasn't been a single doctor of mine that has told me that, you know, hey Anthony, you know, you need to really you know, change your health diet or do this, do that, or else you're going to get cancer. You were the only, and you're not a doctor, as you say, but you're the only one who's ever actually told me that. Those words have never came out of a doctor's mouth to me.
Well, you know
And I
what's
think if they did,
interesting is cancer is not genetic. Very small cases. It's metabolic. It's science. But unfortunately, a lot of big proponents of it keep wanting to go, it's genetic. And the lowest cancer rates in the world are Muslims by 90%, because they do Ramadan once a year and they don't eat during the day for 30 days. They eat at night. 90% less. Can't argue with science. Anyway,
nope.
Anthony, thank you so much. And I wish you a fantastic day.